Well, I'm now being joined on the news by researcher head of the Sahel program at the Institute for Security Studies, ISS, Bamako, Mali. Ornella Moderan, thank you so much for joining us here on News Now.
Pleasure.
All right, the United Nations has called on the military leaders in Mali to actually schedule a timetable for elections. Is it really feasible holding elections in the shortest possible time, considering that security situation in that country is unstable?
In fact, the security situation in Mali is extremely dire indeed, but that might not be the main reason for this delay. So I think the question is rather whether that would be the right thing to do. I mean, Mali has had elections amid unrest in the past. This happened in 2013. This happened in 2018 for presidential elections both times. And this also happened in 2020 for parliamentary polls. So I think right now the right question is not so much whether it's possible regarding the security environment, but whether this would meet the demands of the Malian people who have been, in fact, insisting that fundamental reforms need to happen before elections so that these elections can make sense. There is a sense of losing faith in the democratic procedures of elections if they don't end up actually delivering good governance in the longer term.
All right. Slammed with ECOWAS and most likely EU sanctions, how will these affect the populace and peace in the sub-region?
You know, the very harsh round of sanctions that ECOWAS has imposed on Mali a few days ago, on Sunday, in fact, last week, are a double-edged sword. They are intended to isolate Mali on the international scene, diplomatically, economically, and to suffocate it. And they're also intended to create a form of pressure from within the country against the junta. So far, none of these two strategies are really working. There are too many breaches in the embargo system. Guinea has announced it wouldn't align. Mauritania is not very warm in its reaction either, and Algeria has been kind of lukewarm too. So it's not clear that this strategy to suffocate Mali is actually going to work. On the internal side, in fact, instead of creating pressure against the government, popular pressure, I mean, this is having the exact opposite effect. As we speak on this 14th of January, around midday, there are protests organized across the country in support of the transitional government and against ECOWAS sanctions. So there is a sense that these sanctions are rallying public opinion around a sense of challenged and hurt sovereignty rather than the opposite.
Mm. All right, let's take a look at the Western diplomats. They have warned of impending disaster in Sahel, fearing the spread of extremist groups, more particularly, and persistent economic and also not forgetting social problems in Western Africa and the Sahel. And looking at the fact that it's nearing its tipping point that could have disastrous consequences for the region and beyond. What's your view about this, looking at it from this angle?
Well, the security situation in the Sahel has been extremely serious and concerning for years now. The crisis started 10 years ago in January of 2012. The Western partners who express concern about this are completely right in this sense, but in fact, national governments of the Sahel, including Mali's, expressed the very same concern. So it's not clear exactly what this is supposed to mean. Beyond speeches and expressing concern, I think one important element to have in mind is that all of these actors, both national and international actors, including Western nations, have been deploying troops to fight insecurity in Mali and in the broader Sahel for the past 10 years and have made very little substantial progress. So The question, I think, is rather what needs to change in that strategy for actual results to come about.
All right. I want to say thank you so much for joining us, Ornella Moderan, all the way from Mali.
Thank you.